Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This time I'm doing a why buy on Jarvan the 4th. He is one legit dude, and definitely one of the more, I would say, iconic and highly used, like a champion that you see very frequently, very popular, very strong. He's most commonly seen in the jungle, but he is definitely a very strong kind of tank, bruiser, fighter. I kind of have been needing to find a good tank that I can rely on when I need to play jungle. Because I play, you know, my most typical junglers of choice would be either Cho'Gath or Evelynn, and sometimes neither of them are really going to, you know, cut the bill, do the job. So Jarvan, he's kind of, you know, he's played a ton professionally. Just a very, very strong pick overall, generally considered to be, and so I decided to give him a go, and this was actually one of the first games that I got with him, it was a really fun game. I really enjoyed his playstyle. He's very highly mobile. He has a ton of utility, a ton of different crowd controls that he can use. Very easy for him to benefit your team. I actually think the red buff is glitching right here because it was not stolen. But anyways, yep, you see there, I picked it up. But anyways, Jarvan, he is a very strong champ, a very good tank, like I said, and his mobility is really high, and he's got some very iconic crowd controls. So, I'm playing in the jungle this game. There's actually another Jarvan on the enemy team. You can see we're going in for a dual gank. I was going to pick up one kill on two. There we go, 2 kills right there. 2 early kills for myself coming out of the jungle is going to put me nicely far ahead. And you can see I'm way ahead of the enemy Jarvan right now, so feeling really good about this early start. Very fortunate. And then I actually think I made a bit of a foolish mistake here. I go after this blue buff, even though I do not have smite up and I'm relatively low, because I know that we just got a double kill. So I thought that this would be relatively safe, but if we actually look at what's happening, you can see Twitch and TF are converging on this, and then all of a sudden, here comes Twitch. Flashed and cast, and then I am dead. So a bit of an unfortunate, kind of threw away my double buffs and my early lead, but in the end I think everything will be just fine, and I'll be able to recover pretty nicely. But anyways, let's start talking about his skills and abilities, what makes him so awesome, and what makes him such an effective, tanky bruiser. So his passive is Martial Cadence. The first basic attack on an enemy deals 6% of their current health as bonus physical damage. So very strong. This is one of the reasons why he becomes a very strong tank, is because he's able to do relatively high damage even without itemizing for damage. So, and this is one of the main reasons why, is that he has you know, that first auto attack getting 6% of current health is very nice. And so you always want to make sure that you proc this passive whenever you possibly can. You see, going in for a nice gank here. Oh, I did miss the knock-up, unfortunately, but I did get the slow, and Kennen has enough crowd controls to help bring him down. So another good, successful gank there to help kind of make up for that early loss of those buffs. But Martial Cadence is a very good passive. You always want to make sure you get that auto attack off when you get into range. Next up is his Q, his Dragon Strike. This ability has 2 effects to it. And one would be a lined skill shot. That would deal damage to everybody in front of them, and will also shred their armor. It's his core damage tool, I guess, his highest damage ability, and a nice AoE as well. It's his best ability for clearing jungle camps. See, stepping on this trap as I come in for this gank is always going to make things a bit tricky. Even though I did notice that Nidalee doesn't have any wards, and I do get the blind knockup. But, ooh, there I'm going to use my ultimate right there, and let's see if Ezreal has enough damage. Looks like she's going to heal herself. I'm going to tank a little bit of this tower, even though Ezreal missed that Q. One more auto attack is going to help pick up that kill, but that went on a little bit longer than it needed to, just because Ezreal missed his Q, but that's okay. Although, here comes the Twisted Fate ult, and I am going to go down. So it did look like that Ezreal missing some of his Qs kind of cost me a death there, but that's okay. It was my own fault. We went in pretty deep for that kill, and we did pick it up, so that will happen. But anyways, back to Jarvan. His Q, Dragon Strike, is definitely... Ooh, as you can see, my team going for a nice dive here, and we are going to pick up both those kills. So everything looks like kind of came back to full stride and was made up there. So nice job by my team. But Q, Dragon Strike, definitely his main damage source. I will try to point it out when I can. But the only other interaction to mention about this is that if you Dragon Strike onto your E, the Demacian Standard, you will do exactly what I just did right there, and you will actually pull yourself to the target location, which you can cross over walls. You can see I did it right there, and you'll damage everybody in line. And then the other thing is that you will actually knock up targets in your path. So that's your most effective form of crowd control, would be your EQ combo. You can using it to cross over those walls and knocks up all of those minions. And so that's anytime I'm trying to engage, that's the main source that I go for. Anytime I'm trying to run away or a chase, it's just your main combo would be E into Q, because the knockup is just so handy. And you want to really make sure that you try to line up the knockup so that you throw down your E into the location where you think the enemy is going to go, and then when you throw your Q on top of it, then you can. Do they actually see me here? Oh, it looks like they had the tri-brush loaded. Okay, that makes sense. Anyways, let's move on to his W. This would be his Golden Aegis. It grants him a shield, which is really, really handy for just being a tank and also for clearing the early jungle camps, keep your sustain up. But it will also slow enemy champions within the short radius by a flat percentage amount for 2 seconds. So another really nice form of crowd control. You have a knockup on your E and your Q, and then you've got a slow on your W. And so it's definitely a solid ability to have overall. And another nice thing about this is the shield will actually gain strength depending on how many enemy champions are in range. So popping this in the middle of a team fight is very, very effective. Just because it allows you to really be tanky. You see, trying to kind of toy around with the gank here, but they do actually see me, and so I'm going to get spotted out, and nothing's really going to happen. I do get the knockup on a Jarvan. We are going to force his flash, and looks like the kill gets picked up with the Ignite from Master Yi, so a really nice series. Let's check this out one more time. You can see this Jarvan they do not see me, so Jarvan face check, so I get the EQ, and then I throw it on my ultimate, and he's forced to flash away, but he does still end up dying due to the Ignite. So a really nice job by Master Yi to capitalize on my crowd control. I think he queued into my ultimate, so I was able to help out there. But anyways, the W is a nice shield, pretty straightforward. When you have blue buff, I generally use it to clear the jungle camps just because I have more CDR and more mana regen. But when I don't, I tend not to use it when I'm clearing the jungle. But especially early on, though, it can be nice to give you that little bit extra tankiness. But then other than that, you really want to save it for team fights when you get in close. Next up would be his E, Demacian Standard. It has a passive active component. Passively, it grants attack speed and armor to Jarvan. So again, two things that are really, really crucial to clearing jungle quickly and effectively would be having attack speed and armor. A lot of times people will rune and mastery for both attack speed and armor, and so Jarvan gaining it passively with his E is very, very nice. And then it also has an active component where he will throw his his javelin down into the ground. It will damage enemies, and then it will grant allied champions bonus attack speed. So, and then you can also Q onto it to give you that kind of gap closer. Mobility, and then also the knockup. So the Demacian Standard is definitely core to his kit. I would say it's most useful for the passive component. Is very, very nice for clearing the jungle early. But you see him throwing it right down there. That's when you throw down that flag, and then if you Q onto it. Ooh, I actually didn't even know Nidalee was there. But if you Q onto it, then you will actually jump forward and give yourself that knockup and that gap close. But again, just very well synergizing with his kit makes his identity as a jungler very strong with the attack speed and the armor. And then the damage is nice too. It's just overall a very strong ability. You can see using it a little bit of fail right there to try to get away. But that's his E. So again, his EQ combo is very, very core, giving that knockup and also giving the damage and the mobility. So next up would be his ultimate, Cataclysm. This is one of probably the more iconic ultimates in the game. It's basically Jarvan will jump onto the target with such force that he will create like a crater in the earth, and he'll deal physical damage to them, and then no one is allowed in or out of the crater for 3.5 seconds, and you can activate it again to remove the crater, but very, very strong. The Cataclysm has so many good uses. It can be a little tricky to get used to at first, just because sometimes you can use it in a situation where you will allow your enemy to actually live, or to kind of, you can keep your allies out, like especially if your ally is a melee with no gap closer. Oftentimes they're going to be stuck on the outside, especially if it's a champion like maybe Udyr. He has no way of getting inside. So it has its bad uses as well, but the really nice part about this is if you can lock down a high priority target of the enemy team, and just allow your teammates to really combo on top of them, it can be extremely powerful. And so it really just has a whole bunch of different uses. It's just one of those abilities that really you've seen it before, and it's just it's very effective. It's a very strong ability, and so it has a lot of cool uses. So as we continue to watch this game, I'm going to try to point out good uses and bad uses of Cataclysm. But generally, what you want to do is in team fights to really disrupt the enemy team, and to really lock down high priority targets in bad positions so that your team can pick them off. So anyways, he's a very strong jungler. His early jungle clears are quite good, just because he's got some nice AoE with both his E and his Q. You can see having a nice fight right there on a Twisted Fate, and let's watch this one more time. So I think I just kind of stumbled upon him in the jungle as I'm rotating up top to kind of help out my team here. And there I see him, so I'm going to get the E, Q, and I do get the knock up, and then I throw down the ulti, forcing his flash. And I will always trade ulti for flash any day of the week. The cooldown is definitely in my favor. There's another EQ combo to get the knock up, and getting some nice damage off onto this Yorick. What is Kennen going to do? There's the Kennen ult, finally, thank you. I'm going to take a tower shot, but we are going to pick up that kill. Not really sure why I EQ'd in there, but able to get some of these creeps and kind of scaring away. I really thought about, if I had my ulti up, I probably would have tried to get that TF, but we're just going to take our one kill and run away home and be just fine. So you can see in terms of my build, I like to build Jarvan as more of a straight tank. You can go for more of a damage build. His Q has nice AD scaling, and his R, his ultimate has nice AD scaling as well, but none of his other abilities scale with attack damage. But he does have some pretty nice damage with his E, his Q, and his passive. He has some really nice consistent damage. You can see we're going for this dragon, so you could go for something like a Brutalizer, Black Cleaver, or even like a BT. I have seen people who will lane Jarvan and go for more of a straight AD build, but you can see we got a nice team fight coming in here, and we are going to pick up a couple of kills. My team is quite strong. Just one kill onto the enemy Jarvan, and now we're going to steal his blue buff. So hopefully going to try to give this to Ezreal if he will take it. Come on, buddy, you can do it. Oh, missing his Q. Oh, my Sunfire Cape picks it up in the end. So another missed Q from this Ezreal, even though he has had a pretty strong game up to this point. But I would say that his Jarvan's best build is to go straight tank. And you can see that's what I'm doing here. Spirit of the Ancient Golem is the standard for a tanky jungler. You see it all the time in the LCS. It's extremely cost efficient. It gives you health, it gives you CDR, it gives you health and mana regen. All of those things are extremely nice. The Butcher passive is okay. Helps with your clears, but then the Tenacity, where you're reducing crowd controls by 35%, is one of the best passives in the game. And it allows you to not always have to take Sork Shoot or Mercury Treads, which is really nice. It gives you some flexibility and variety with your build path. Just being able to, you can use your builds, your boots for more of mobility. If you want to go for mobility boots or boots of swiftness, you could also go for Ninja Tabby if they have heavy armor. There's just a lot more choices that you can go with your boots if you are going to pick up Spirit of the Ancient Golem. So a very nice item, is definitely core on a tanky Jarvan. I have seen Jarvans who go for more of they'll go for a damage item initially. As you see, we're getting caught out here. I'm going to flash away, and I think I'm going to get out. But I have seen people who go for more of a damage Jarvan build. They'll start with the Spirit of the Elder Lizard, and that's fine. That can work, and then if you kind of build tanky after that, that's definitely acceptable. But I tend to go straight tank on Jarvan. He just has so much utility and crowd control with his kit that he can afford to go straight tanky. So the idea is, if you're going to build into a straight tank, you want to also be able to contribute to your team in some way, whether that's crowd control or auras or If you can still do high damage while being tanky, all of those things are kind of what you want to achieve when you're building straight tank. So, you know, with Jarvan, he's got a knockup, he's got a slow on his W, he's got a attack speed, you know, aura with his E, and then his ultimate is like one of the best, most iconic crowd controls in the game. So, like I said, he just brings a ton to the team, other than, you know, in terms of if he's building straight tank, he can still do a lot for your team. After this, I think I'm going to go for Randuin's. I felt like they had a lot of physical damage in the enemy team. As you can see, my team kind of had a bit of a misplay here. But they have a lot of physical damage with, I believe Yorick is kind of a mix. And then Jarvan definitely physical, and Twitch definitely physical. So, and then TF is not really, you know, I wasn't really trying to itemize against Twisted Fate, mostly just trying to keep myself safe from everybody else. So, you know, my core build would definitely be Spirit of the Ancient Golem. Sunfire Cape is strong. I could go for Lock of the Iron Solari. That would definitely be a good choice here as well, just for the auras that it provides, if you're going for more of a utility build. But I decided to go for more of a straight tank build, so I think I'm going next for another Giant's Bolt item, which will likely be Randuin's Omen, which I think is generally considered to be the strongest armor item in the game. So that will be a good choice there. In terms of just kind of overall how Jarvan fits into the landscape, I would say Jarvan is one of the most flexible junglers. Well, a very poor use of my ulti right there, because Nidalee can just hop right out of it with her W. But Jarvan is one of the most flexible junglers. He can really do a lot of different things. He can go, you know, he's just so useful. He just has so many different things that are useful. You can see on Teamfight, he's going to break out here. I already recently used my ultimate, so all I have is my knockup. There, I'm going to land it to help pick... I'm going to actually pick up the kill onto Twisted Fate and just try to keep these two away from the rest of my team. Are we going to get a kill onto Jarvan? There's the EQ, and we are going to pick up another kill onto that Jarvan. And now, instead of chasing after this Nidalee, I think I decided to kind of turn around. Nidalee is so slippery, and it looks like actually the rest of my team is dead, so kind of try to get myself out of here. And this is kind of where Jarvan can really excel. He is so good at getting through the jungle with his EQ. Hopping over that wall is going to be really nice. And now Ezreal's back, and I kind of want to fight this, but perhaps I shouldn't. 5 seconds left until my ulti comes off cooldown. Trying to kind of kite out these guys as best as I possibly can, but I do end up falling there, unfortunately, so not quite able to keep myself alive. Ooh, a nice ult there from Ezreal. Although Twitch is doing a ton of damage, this Twitch is actually quite strong with his Bloodthirster, although Renan's probably isn't the best choice. Although you can, in an AoE, apply stacks of your passive, which would be nice, but anyways, I definitely like to play Jarvan as more of a straight tank. It's kind of the moral of the story there. Wow, you just got exploded right there. Wow. Yeah, so let's just kind of sit back and think about where this game is at as kind of we continue. So I had some good success early on, which was really helping out. I think a lot of the success got translated into bot lane, as Ezreal has a really nice lead over Twitch. Mid lane is relatively even, and top lane is relatively even, but I have a really big lead over the enemy Jarvan, and our Ezreal is quite fed as well. So that advantage, I think, is really what's going to propel us into this late game. You know, and as a jungler, I definitely would say that the most valuable lane to really kind of set ahead would be bot lane, just because, you know, getting an 80 carry ahead is always going to be strong, and it's always going to translate well into late game. So now at this point, I do have my Boots of Swiftness. I opted for Boots of Swiftness just because of I know that TF has a slow on his red card. As you see, we're going in for another fight here. TF has a slow, Twitch has a slow, Yorick has a slow, so I thought Boots of Swiftness would be the best idea. But now I'm just trying to really help out my team. As we do, I do end up picking up the kill on Nidalee, and I did use my Cataclysm there and then flashed out of it, even though it kind of kept Blitzcrank dead. I'm sorry about that, Blitzcrank. It was trying to just kind of keep the enemy team locked down. It's going to EQ away, and there's the TF ult, but is he going to have enough? He does. Oh, I'm so close to being dead. There's the Great Escape through the wall at red buff, and I am going to get out here with 100 HP. We'll see if I end up making it all the way back to base safely or not. There's another EQ, and I am going to make it out nicely and alive. So a great escape there from Jarvan. Again, Jarvan is very slippery for a jungler and a tank. with his E and his Q, he can really do a lot of nice little tricks. It just gives him a lot of mobility and a lot of options. So, again, at this point, I'm just going straight tank. And look at all this damage that's being focused onto me. I am fine with that. I took a TF yellow card. I took a lot of damage from Yorick, and there is the shutdown. So that was really good tanking by myself right there. Able to just kind of run into the enemy team. Excuse me. Run into the enemy team, take a lot of cooldowns, take a lot of damage, but ultimately be the one who is allowing my teammates to get kills is really where you want to be. There goes another kill onto Nidalee from Ezreal, so good job from him carrying this game as best as he can. And we're just going to go for these turrets. I think that really the point of this game was that it really just was kind of me showcasing tanking. Tanking is, I think, one of the more underappreciated elements in League of Legends, but it can be so, so crucial. Having a very strong and effective tank on your team, it really frees up your damage dealers to really kind of breathe and not always have to worry about, because ultimately tanks, their job is to be disruptive and their job is to soak damage. And if they're doing that effectively, it really, really, I think this Ezreal actually made a really nice play here. But, oh, there he gets oh, right, as he's about to come after me, Ezreal picks up the kill. So, fantastic job there from Ezreal to pick up that kill. Very, very well done. Good job, Ez. But, tanking, it's one of those things that is so underappreciated, but it is so, so strong when done correctly. You can see I don't have the flashiest stats in the game. 4, 3, and 11 is really not that good. But I've been really effective at tanking a lot of damage. Just kind of initiating fights at the right time. You can see here, again, I'm taking a ton of pain from this Yorick, but I've allowed my team to come in, and now there's a really good Cataclysm knocking their team down, preventing them from going after Ezreal, although I do end up dying here. Just tanking so much damage, allowing my team to really get a lot of work done. And so a really nice job there. You can see we're going, they have 3 dead and we only have 2 dead. So that's definitely in our favor. And I actually I don't even think that everybody was there at that fight. So that was definitely in our favor, and we are going to get an inhibitor off this. So again, that's my point. My whole point is that the idea of tanking really isn't so much about, being a carry. It's more about being a huge nuisance, and that's what I really am aiming to be. I'm getting a lot of assists, which is really, really nice as a tank, but not really picking up a lot of kills. And you are going to die. That's one thing about tanking, is you are going to be getting deaths, but that's going to happen. You have to kind of come to terms with that, because you want to be soaking damage. You want people to be aiming you and focusing you and putting their damage onto you, not because they want to, but because they kind of feel like they're forced to. Like they don't really have any other option. Like they have, just because you're there. And I mean, tanking is almost more of a mentality thing, really, than anything else. I mean, see, we're back in this fight, and I am diving onto their Twitch, able to pick up that kill. Let's go ahead and rewind this and kind of get a better feel for what was happening. You can see my teammates are fighting here in the jungle, but I'm pinging like crazy that I'm coming in hot, ready to help them out. Yi is here as well, and we catch this Twitch out. You can see Yi is fighting Twitch, and I'm going to EQ just to really make sure that we take him out. So he is dead, but Yi also goes down. But now, we're pretty much, I'm getting Jarvan out of here. So basically, we won that little skirmish. It was a 2 versus 2, and now it's 2 of them are gone and 1 of us are left. So I'm here going to try to help out my team. I'm pinging Ezreal, hey man, I'm coming to help you out, but they do pick up the kill there. Very nicely done. There's TF, so I'm running to this mark to really prevent TF. You can see he wanted to go after that Ezreal, so I ulted him. I really wanted to prevent him from getting that damage off. There goes the slow from my W. I also believe I used my Randuin's, and getting the EQ there, and 1 more auto attack is going to get that kill. Again, another nice pull onto Nidalee. I missed the knockup right there, unfortunately, and Nidalee is a little bit too slippery, I think, to pick up the kill right at this moment. But yeah, we're just going to keep on going here. We're in a very strong position right now in this game, and I'm being very, very tanky. With my completed, I've got, 3 very strong completed tank items with Randuin's, Sunfire, and Spirit of the Ancient Golem. Now going for that Lock of the Iron Solari in the end. I'm going to steal their blue buff one more time. And yeah, we're just kind of looking to finish this game out. I'm going to face tank this turret, no problemo. I've got 252 armor, so I have plenty. Here's another team fight. There was a nice 3-man knockup. and a nice Cataclysm to hold down their enemy team inside the cannon ultimate. You can see just how well Ken and I are synergizing. Let's watch this fight one more time. It was so crucial right there that I, Wombo comboed my Jarvan ultimate on top of the Kennen ultimate. That was really one of the core things I wanted to do. We've got Yi and Ezreal who can really dance out. You can see Kennen right here getting dove on, and I get a nice pull to knock in up 2 members of the enemy team, Yorick and Twitch, and there goes the ultimate to lock all 3 of them down inside the Kennen ultimate with Master Yi and Ezreal just blasting them. So perfect job right there to really get my utility out correctly. There goes their Jarvan's ultimate, and they are just focusing me like crazy, but I don't mind. Even though there goes my nice EQ to knock both of them up and to help Ezreal pick up a double kill. Nice job, Ezreal. Going up to 18-2 in this game. So again, just shows you how Ezreal definitely has played well. But I think that it's also important to note that it's almost impossible for an AD carry to do something like this without a good tank ahead of him. Having a tank to be the person in front, soaking up this damage, allows Ezreal to just be free to DPS as much as he wants. So that's going to be the victory for us, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not the strongest jungler. It is probably my least played role, but Jarvan, I think, is a very strong jungler to play, and he can just do so much for your team that it makes him a very natural selection there for that tank jungler role. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Jarvan is a lot of fun to play, and I will definitely be playing him more in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.